I honestly don't know how we made it out alive. It feels like luck, really. Now, when I think about it during the day, it all seems like a dream or some sort of hallucination. It's hard to believe something like that actually happened to us, but I will tell you everything from the beginning. It was the end of summer. The nights had cooled off, but the days were still warm. A guy I knew, Max, and I were heading out to a spot near St. Petersburg we'd been wanting to visit for a while. We are diggers, by the way. Our season is not long. Once the rain starts, there is not much you can do. The clay turns to mud, tents won't stay up, and excavations can't be covered. The only option left is to dig in the forest, but that brings its own set of problems. Anyway, I am getting sidetracked. This time, we were planning to dig in the forest. Max is a complicated, unsociable guy. He's ethnically German and has a strong hatred for fascists. He's been digging for years, usually on his own, mostly in the Smolensk area. He dug up a map that looked promising and said it seemed like a good spot. Max has great equipment and knows what he is doing, so I figured it would be fine as long as I did not argue with him. So, we packed our backpacks, sleeping bags, tools, food for a couple days, and hopped on the train. I asked Max, "Why do you think nothing's been found there yet? There are villages nearby, and it's not far from St. Petersburg." He replied, "I think that's all that's left. The area is swampy, and not many people go there. Let's check it out. Maybe the swamp has not covered everything up. Maybe it hasn't." We arrived and started unloading. According to the map, we had to cross a field, then navigate ravines through the forest, about 15 kilometers in total. If we did not hit any major blockages, we should reach our destination by lunchtime. We secured our bags more comfortably and made our way along the forest's edge, trying not to be seen by any patrolling cops. At first, the pace was good, and the forest was dry and clear, but deeper in, we ran into swamps and fallen trees. The smaller swamps were shallow, overgrown with grass and trees, but soon, we came across larger ones, wet, dark patches of water surrounded by hummocks and birch bullets. We reached our destination around 4 in the afternoon. The sun was still warm, and both of us were sweaty and exhausted. We set up a canopy. I went to gather firewood for the night, and Max unpacked the probe and headed toward the swamp with the map. I was only going out of curiosity. Max usually kept his sources to himself, but he always found interesting things. I knew he would not have chosen the spot if there wasn't something worth finding. While I gathered firewood, he was already fiddling with the probe and marking things down. We decided to start digging first thing in the morning, as it was getting dark early. The forest was already fading into twilight, and in that light, it was easy to miss something important. Max returned to the fire, and I caught a glimpse of him slipping the map into his pocket. The marks on it were in German. "Do you get your sources from German archives?" I asked casually. "Something like that. I have good maps," Max replied. "I know. Half of the forum envies you. Everyone wants to dig with you. Did you find anything in the swamp?" I asked. "I have not started digging yet, just taking notes. There is a lot of activity there. Maybe a car sank, or a tank, or a plane, though that would beep differently. We will see in the morning," Max said, jotting notes in his book. "Tell me what happened here," I asked. A German punitive unit, part of a larger group from nearby villages, was trying to escape the Russians through this forest. According to the documents, they entered the forest and never came out. They ran into the Russians here, but the Russians killed them all. The trail goes cold after that. No papers left behind. We might find a few Soviet soldiers, weapons, or maybe even Germans. I think they took the left side of the swamp. It's less swampy and leads toward the village. February, so the hummock should still be visible. There's even something like a path on the left side. The swamp's outline matches the map pretty well, Max explained in a low voice, but it was clear he had been preparing for this trip for a long time. Night fell, and we settled to sleep. The fire slowly died, and fog began rolling in from the swamp. It was getting cold. I drifted off quickly and slept soundly. I was awoken by a strange gurgling sound, but at first, I thought I was imagining it. I lay there half awake, listening, and was about to doze off again when I heard it again. It sounded like something big splashing around in the swamp, snorting. I propped myself up on my elbow and peered into the fog. Could it be a cow from a nearby village? It should not be here. There were no farms nearby. Max stood next to me. We exchanged glances and began staring into the darkness. The splashing grew louder. Now it sounded like multiple people were moving in the swamp. I even thought I heard voices. Could it be another group of diggers who learned about the swamp, or were these people here for completely different reasons? Either way, we did not want to be noticed. Our only weapons were knives and shovels, hardly enough to defend ourselves if needed. I felt a cold shiver, and we stayed silent, watching the swamp. Soon, we saw silhouettes, several people in long coats or raincoats moving through the quagmire. They were walking right among the hummocks and pools of dark water, speaking quietly to each other. "What the hell?" Max whispered, and they froze as if they'd heard him. They turned toward us simultaneously, and one raised his hand, gesturing in our direction. I don't remember how I scrambled out of my sleeping bag and ran through the bushes without thinking. I did not get far though. I tripped over a root and fell, badly twisting my leg and breaking my nose. Max had even worse luck. He got tangled in his sleeping bag, and in seconds, the figures were surrounding him. I lay frozen in the bushes, too scared to breathe. It felt like my hair was standing on end, and I knew I'd never sleep soundly again. I pressed my hand to my mouth, trying not to scream, and desperately tried to remember any prayer, though none came to mind. Max was surrounded by figures in decayed uniforms, with the remnants of German insignia still visible. What I'd thought were raincoats were actually the remains of winter greatcoats. The figures leaned over him, and I saw they had no eyes, noses, or in some cases, ears or lips. Their bodies were bloated from being in the water, pale and swollen. Water dripped from the tattered uniforms. "Bruce?" one of them croaked, pointing a rusty weapon at Max. "No, I'm German, a citizen of Germany," Max stammered in fluent German, panicking. One of the drowned figures leaned closer, as if studying him. Max was a fair-skinned blond guy. Maybe that's what saved him. The figure examined his military-style cap, German knife and flask, things Max had picked up near Smolensk. After a moment, the creature straightened and waved his hand at the others. They moved along the left side of the swamp, just as we'd planned earlier, but they got stuck almost immediately in the mud. We watched, trembling, as the Germans struggled, sinking deeper into the quagmire, screaming and clinging to the hummocks. Eventually, they disappeared into the swamp, and all was silent again. We lay there, motionless. My leg and face were in agony, and all was silent again. We lay there motionless. My leg and face were in agony, and Max's teeth were chattering so loudly I was sure they could hear him a mile away. We grabbed our things as quickly as we could, leaving behind most of our gear, and headed toward the village along the right side of the swamp. It was painful to walk, but staying put seemed even worse. We did not speak a word the entire way. By 7 a.m., we reached the village and knocked on the door of the first house with lights on. "Stupid idea, going into our swamps like that," the old woman muttered, "and just the two of you, so young." We told her we were studying bottom sediments for an institute assignment. We could not tell her the truth. "The locals stay out of the forest after dark," she continued. "My father told me when the blockade ended and they chased the Fritzes out, one group hid in the forest. Our people pushed them into the swamp, but the Germans shot them and disappeared in there themselves. The land would not take them, so now they walk around at night, crawling out of the swamps and wandering the forest. When they meet someone, they shoot them in the face, and if you speak Russian, they drag you into the swamp with them, and then they drown. Expeditions came, supposedly to recover the bodies, but where would you even find them now?" We ate homemade eggs with onions and dark bread in silence. I did not feel like responding to her. I bandaged my leg and we left, heading toward the highway. We caught a ride back to the city. We never went back to that area. Hey, I hope you've enjoyed the story so far. If you do and you want to hear more, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment down below, as it lets the algorithm know that you like my content and it promotes it to more people. My goal for the channel is to hit 50,000 subscribers, and we're closing in fast, so thank you, and back to the stories. Be me. Wake up at 12 a.m. See 3 grey Ayla mouse on the side of my bed, staring at me. I try to move, but I freeze. The Ayla mouse project 2 visions into my head. One was of a baby inside of its mother's womb. Second one was of my 2 uncles and I, walking in a crop circle. Wake up. It's 3 a.m. Oh shit. Go into the bathroom. Yell about the aliens trying to abduct me. Tell them I've known about them for years. When I was a baby, I would always cry when it was 5 p.m. Check 4chan. I have an ad blocker, but these new, weird ads pop up. Uh-oh, this is really unexpected, said one picture with Black Panther on it. I go downstairs to pet my cat. She is dead, with 2 piles of urine in the hallway / kitchen that spells L. One of the couch cushions was ripped open. The inside fiber was on the living room floor, spelling 69. Voice screams, "Why would you do such a thing?" Nope. Take some Xanax and a hit of weed. I was holding my dead cat's body in my arms. No wounds on her though. Radiation from the aliens probably killed her. Cry. Nothing else happens. Get my cat cremated. Her ashes are in a nice wooden box next to my bed. I see 4 UFOs over the course of the next 3 months. White / yellowish orbs that make no noise but appear to be 50 feet from the ground. They make weird maneuvers. I yell at them about killing my cat. No aliens or UFOs since. Please, please take your meds, please. Was thinking about making this into its own thread, but then I saw this thread and it fits perfectly. Be me. Little 8-year-old kid. Get into some kid show about hunting ghosts with a few of my friends. Actors go into Alcatraz and shit and point at shadows. See this and want to become a ghost hunter. Look around for a place to hunt in. I live in a suburban town. Literally no abandoned houses, spooky neighborhoods, nothing. Finally decide on a tiny ass playground at the end of this back street like 200 meters away from my home. Get a group of friends together and we all scooter down to this playground. Get there and realize how overgrown this shit is. No clue what the fuck type of plant it was, but this whole place was covered in what looked like 6-foot tall grass. Friends chicken out and say they're gonna stand on the other side of the fence in case a ghost comes. Machoman.jpg initiated. Tell them all I'm not scared and walk right into the park. Not only am I 8 years old, but I have scoliosis, so I am practically 3 inches tall at the time. Literally can see nothing but this plant all around me. Combine a lack of vision with an already on edge 8-year-old. Panic initiated in only 3 seconds. Start running through this tiny playground, hoping to find the fence. This playground is no bigger than maybe 10 feet across. Not paying attention to anything anymore, literally just running. Hit my shin on a rock or some shit, hard. Fall flat on my back. Look around for what I tripped on. Man is standing in the midst of the plants, staring at me. Fuck. Get up onto my feet and try to skedaddle. Man picks me up and faces me in a different direction, then walks away. Run forward, and immediately, I see that he put me facing directly towards the open gate. Friends never saw anyone go into the playground after me. Literally just tell my parents we scooted around the parking lot. To this day, I have no clue who this man was or what he was doing there. Didn't really happen to me as such, but here you are. Working as a pit boss in a casino in the Midlands, UK, a few years ago. Yes, I am old. Some idiot dealer manages to cut himself on a blackjack shoe. Claret all over the table. Needs to be written into the accident book. Go find the fucking book, cursing the dealer all the while because nothing ever gets written in the fucking book and nobody knows where it is. Fill out the entry. Previous entry is 4 years previous. Valet injured by ghost in storage room on 2nd floor. Lol, ghosts. Somebody is having a joke. Ask around. Nobody knows anything. Most people didn't know there's a storage room on the 2nd floor, me included. Quiet night. Fuck this, it's my place. I'll go check it out. Take my break and head up to the 2nd floor. One locked door at the end of the corridor. Of course it's locked, you idiot. Go get the keys. Go to cash desk where the key cabinet is. No keys for 2nd floor storage. Ask cashier about them. Like almost all casino cashiers, she has been there for decades. She grunts. Oh, we don't use that room anymore. Ask for the keys. They're gone. What the fuck, Doreen? I want the keys. You can't have them, they're gone. Ask longest serving manager the next day about it. He tells me to forget about it. Tells me to stop bugging Doreen. Don't know if creeped out or not. People say that weird things went on all the time in that place, but people say weird shit happens all the time everywhere when they are tired and hyped. First time I ever saw a ghost attack in an official report though, and the second floor was pretty spoopy. Always much colder than the rest of the building. Lights always popping out and shit like that. Someone started a thread the other day, full of weird events from his youth, one of which involved UFOs. It made me want to share this personal story, but the thread was archived before I got a chance, so I'm going to share it here. I have never green texted anything, so go easy on me. First things first, out in West Texas, there is a rundown shack off the side of the road, and I mean way off the side. The only reason I found it is because I drove from Houston to Marfa to check out what all the hubbub was about. People in my social circle go gaga over Marfa. It's like a fucking mecca for art people and hipsters apparently, but it's also a gorgeous place. Clear open skies, night full of stars. We don't get this sort of thing in Houston. I spent most of my youth in the country, so it's a welcome experience to see all the beautiful wilderness. I feel like a kid again. Stay there for a week, and towards the end, I feel like, if anything, the city itself gets in the way of all that natural beauty, so I shift gears, buy a tent, pack some food. Then I hit the highway. Somewhere between Marfa and Alpine, just before sunset, I pull my Jeep off the road and drive into the Chihuahua Desert. Not gonna lie, I had scenes of Native American vision quests dancing through my mind. Maybe this trip could be an awakening of sorts, but with no map and no real cell service, it's a little bit like sailing out into the open sea, all alone, without a compass, trying to recall this as best as I can. Not to bore you, but most of my life back home revolved around work, bills, family problems, lonely nights at the bar, the occasional bad date, blah blah blah. This is all just to say that I guess I'd been searching for a reset button, and driving into that desert felt kinda cool. It's sunset and I see something. A small hill, all jagged along the left side, like someone had blown out a part of it, maybe a mining operation. The jagged side is all lit up by the setting sun, so you could not exactly miss it, but you also couldn't quite make it out entirely. I speed towards it, feeling like Mad Max, cloud of dust behind me. Takes a while. By the time I actually make it around the hill, and I'm facing the blown out side, the sun has set. Pitch black, just the headlights. My Jeep rolls to a stop, and my headlights catch something about 50 feet away. An old rundown shack sitting in front of the rocky face of the hill. It looks like a spooky face, gaping at me. 2 front windows are busted open, and the front door is missing. The scream.jpg. At this point, I'm actually a little spooked. This is not too far away from cartel territory. What if I find dead bodies piled inside? Nah, I'm just letting my imagination run away with me. Shut off the Jeep and walk towards the shack. It's quiet. I'm talking about dead silence. Nothing but the crunching sound of my footsteps. No skittering of rabbits, no wind, just like the desert is holding its breath. I approach the shack and notice the front door is not missing. It's just a few feet in front of the doorway, like it's been blown right off the hinges. Inside, the place is barren. A staircase to my right leads up to a second story, which seems odd. From outside, the place looks like a single story. From the base, I can't make out anything upstairs. Man, I should have left my headlights on, I think. It would not be so dark in here. Oh well, too late. I march up the creaky steps, and that is when things get weird. First of all, the whole upstairs is furnished completely. Nothing fancy, but decent. On a small table sits a round wooden box. Curious about what's inside. Just then, in the distance, I hear an engine rumbling. Sounds like a big truck speeding towards the shack. Like, man, this thing must be flying. Figure I ought to get out of there, but curiosity wins out. I walk over to open the box when I realize someone is in the room with me. It's dark, but I can make a figure out in the far corner. Feel paralyzed, Not even really scared, just like I can't move. Outside, I hear the engine rumbling loudly, then a weird sound. You ever heard a calf calling for its mother? This sounded similar, only it was quick, like it was almost barking. I hear a bunch of these outside, then downstairs, then coming up the steps. They sound slow and heavy. I begin to feel very weak, like I'm drunk, and the figure in the corner walks over to me. I feel him touch my neck, and then everything goes black. When I woke up, I was in my Jeep, but it wasn't where I parked it. No shack, and I did not see the rocky face of a hill. I was just right up against a big-ass cactus, and I felt hungover. I managed to find my way to the highway, and figured out I was by Fort Davis, which is like 30 minutes away from either Marfa or Alpine. Fucking weird shit. Be me, 15. Always wanted some sort of adventure. Have been hooked on detective movies and that type of stuff. The explorer type. In my town we have a forest. It's not the biggest forest, but it's pretty big for a town. One day my friend calls me to say that he took a look at our old tree hut place within the forest and saw children's clothes hanging on the trees and on the ground. Interested.jpg. We meet and he shows me the way. I see children's clothes, all dirty, but fairly new, laying on the ground. It could be 7, 8, 9 years old approximately. Walk around more, find another place, with adult clothing, underwear hanging on the tree, a bed made of a bamboo fence, and more clothes. This is suspicious. We get out of the place, and look at other places in the forest. We find several other places, with weird stuff like this too. One place was deep within a forest, a wooden plate, with on top, ritual shit. There was a seashell, blue wood, a piece of moss, a rock, and shit like that. Next to it was a piece of paper that was torn apart with the words, Zeus, Judaism, and something else. I know that the other word had to do with killing someone. Detective work starts. We find another place. It's a type of place where there has been made a hut, probably from children. We go deeper to see a suitcase. We open it and find some clothes, new clothes. We find it next to a type of pram in a big bucket. Scary. Get back to the place where the altar was. We feel that the ground is soft and look at each other. We have to dig here, we say, so we did. Next day, we came back with shovels, but sadly, nothing was under there. See on the news, a child has been missing. Oh fuck. Meet up with friend again. Not feeling good about it. Pick related is Forest Road. Decide to get out of the forest and visit abandoned building. In 1993, next to the building, there was a nuclear power plant. It exploded and killed the people in that building. Someone was stuck in the cellar and died, so we tried to visit. We successfully entered. We go look around and see a water trail leading up these stairs. We are getting interested. We follow the trail and see that it goes through under a door, which is closed. We wanted to open the door before my friend touched the water trail. He told me that the trail was wet. I felt it, and my hand got wet. We hear something fall behind the door. We're getting out. We ran out, feeling all fucked up, knowing something ain't right. We walk back through the forest again, up to our house. It's already dark. We walk on the normal road, but one of the side roads. If you go through that, you'll get to the suitcase from earlier, but we had to walk through, so we did. You hear someone running from there towards us. We're getting out, part 2. Think there might be a murder. Get home safely, and talk about it, and sleep. Next day, I visit alone, and I see another friend, and I told him about it, and he was interested. I came alone to film the place with my video camera, because why not? I wanted to film, but my camera did not work for some reason. I asked my friend if he could, so he did. He films me, showing all the stuff which might be clues. I film him as well. He goes home again. I am left in the forest alone, and it starts to rain. When he got home, my camera worked again, so I used it. Camera does a bit slow, but works after a while. Decide to film. I film the normal road and then me cycling on it. First few seconds of the video, you can see a man staring at me through the bushes. I did not see anyone in real life. Pick related is the forest too. Seconds later, I cycle in that way. Man is gone. When I got home to watch the footage, I freaked the fuck out. My friend calls me with a frightened voice. He tells me that from what we have filmed, only the first second of the clip was filmed, and the last second of the clip. I freak out. He freaks out. We freak out. Something must be wrong with this forest. Decide not to come back, because this was too spooky for me. Had nightmares a couple days long after the happening. So did my friend. My other friend, who began it with me, will not go into the forest again as well. Child is still missing. The mystery has never been resolved. We still don't know what is going on with the forest. We never will. Some questions remain to be unanswered. Case closed. Be me, 13 years old, living the farm boy life in rural America. Folks are away for a romantic vacation. Just me and my two sisters in the house. Raining like a fucking bitch outside. We're in a wet and windy region, but this is still an unusual amount of rain, even for a storm. Trying to sleep it through. Start dreaming. I see a lake under bright daylight, full of furry-looking figures that look like dead animals, similar to the farm animals we have. Quietly, but suddenly wake up. Hear slight noise, way off in the distance, like a light roar. Immediately, my testicles retreat inside my body. I don't know what big-ass tornadoes sounded like at the time, but I guess my ancestors were telling me about the F3 headed straight towards my house or some shit, because I started doing the exact protocols for tornadoes. Run to my sister's rooms, and I tell them to get the fuck downstairs into the basement. We are all down there, talking about the weather, and hoping that our farm and our stuff aren't too terribly damaged tomorrow. We want to call our parents, but the landline is upstairs, and we don't want to risk anything by going up there. And the roaring is slowly and surely getting louder. Over the course of like 5 minutes, the sound becomes very loud. We keep thinking that the tornado or whatever is directly on top of us. We are freaked out so fucking bad. The noise was like Cthulhu's vacuum cleaner at this point. We have to raise our voices inside our basement to hear each other 5 feet away. Roaring is sort of moving around the area, almost like it's taking a walk around the farm, is what it sounds like. Noise eventually goes away and fades completely. After an hour or so, me and my sisters go upstairs and try to look out over the land. Still raining. Not as hard as a few minutes ago, but would definitely not want to drive in this shit. We're in the middle of nowhere, with no light and a new moon, so it's dark as fuck out there. The sky was almost black. I remember this specifically because it was so weird to me. We decide to hope for the best and just go back inside and go back to sleep. Wake up at 10 a.m. Hear sister crying. Go to dining room that overlooks backyard, which is just a big fucking field that stretches for miles and is mostly Bureau of Land Management property. One sister is comforting the other one, but is also very clearly upset. There looks to be a gigantic fucking pond there, and in it are a few of the farm animals that we have. Holy shit, there's actually a lot. Sun is really bright today. There was so much rain that it filled a little indent in the land completely up, and somehow, about half of our farm animals, all of which were locked up, got out, and traveled halfway across the property and got drowned. I still get chills up my spine whenever it gets even slightly rainy. Be me, 14 at the time. Pretty fit at the time because I did cross country in high school, but nothing special. On a scout hike. Going down to bottom of Grand Canyon and spending a few days on the Havasu Res. Group kind of naturally splits into the slow guys and the fast guys. Normally, I would be with the fast guys, but my friend is a fat fuck, so I linger back with him in the slow group. I'm kind of a rock nerd, so I like looking at the geology formations. Other bonus of the slow group is that I can wait behind for a bit to look at things and then catch up pretty fast. Most of the stone is in horizontal layers, but I see a stripe that twists from horizontal to vertical. Little bit of cliff climbing in the narrows, but no biggie. Tell fat friend I will catch up. I want to go look at some weird rocks. He accepts my obsession. As I get close to the stripe, I can see that it is andesite, which is weird, because igneous rocks don't make sense in the GC. Super curious now. Spend about 30 minutes or so pathfinding my way up to a flat spot so I can look at the stripe. As I'm working my way up the little cliff face, like 15 feet, 20 tops, I see a little flower growing in a crevice. Super weird little flower. It has green petals. Have not seen anything like it since. My obsession compels me to poke it. Petals are under tension or something. When I touch it, it's like hitting a mousetrap. Whole thing kind of explodes, and there is a lot of pollen. Immediately hit with just mind-numbing fear. Shit myself, piss myself, don't even care. Have no idea why I'm so terrified, but it's just this immediate reaction. Climb down low enough that I can jump down without getting hurt, and start running to catch up with others. Sprint back to group. There is some sort of feedback loop where the fear only goes down if I can sprint as fast as I can. Slowing down makes it come back. I feel like I can't stop running. I know it's tearing my body up. It hurts so bad to keep going, and I get this foamy spit all around my mouth, but it is so terrifying to slow down that I keep going. Slow group sees me coming up to them like a bat out of hell. They're trying to ask me what's up, but I blitz past them way too fast. Make it to the fast group. They're trying to ask me why I'm going like this, but I can't slow down. It's too scary. Scoutmaster, thank God, is bigger and stronger than me. Grabs me as I run. Apparently, I fought like an animal. Kept trying to bite him while screaming that I have to get away before it arrives. He's a former wrestler, so he just got me into a headlock until I passed out, and then they tied me up. They sent a fast guy back to the slow group to tell them what's up, but they did not know what to do. It's too hard to transport me when I'm fighting, and there is no signal that deep in the canyon. If you're fucked, you're just super fucked. The only option is to send someone into the tribe down there and have them medvac you out. Their decision is to send someone to the tribe to get a horse that can carry me, then use that to get me close enough for the medvac. Scoutmaster has them watch me while he goes down to the tribe. It takes probably an hour or so, but the fear fades, and I have no idea what the hell happened. They're not even mad at me. They are just baffled at what scared me out of my mind like that, and all I can talk about is the rock and the flower. When they say that I'm not going to run off again, they untie me and let me wash off in the river / get a change of clothes. I've definitely got Asperger's, but I've never had a moment like that with them. They are mostly just used to me being kind of clinical and robotic, so it's a really weird vibe for them. To be honest, it's weird for me too. I've never lost control like that before or since. Eventually, the scoutmaster got back with a horse, but it was decided I did not need a medevac out. Used the horse to get down the canyon because I was destroyed from that panic run. I must have ran 6 miles in 30 minutes. I could barely stand. Spend the rest of the trip down there just resting, trying to get recovered enough to walk back out. Really did not want to use horse / medevac again. I'll be honest guys, if I had not stuck to the trail, and if the scoutmaster had not been there, I think I literally would have run myself to death. It took a super long time for the fear to wear off when I was basically held down, and even then, with the amount of running that I'd done, I was basically crippled for the next 2 days. I could barely get out of the canyon by myself. I asked the tribe about the flower, and they'd said they never heard of anything like that. Whenever I hear stories about someone being found 30 miles off course from their hike at the top of a mountain or something, I think about that weird little flower and wonder about how many people survived that little ball of doom. Here is another story for all of you. My boyfriend remembered this one. Yes, it's me, the mountain lion on. Be me, 17 at this point. BF and I are really into urban exploration at this point, so we drove around to an old factory at the edge of town. From the outside, the factory looks pretty normal, just run down and a bit dilapidated. Broken windows and shit. Warned my BF about broken glass. Walk inside. No windows on the inside. Go back outside to check. There are still windows. What the fuck? Tell BF that some fucky shit is going on. And on, it's fine. Probably just windows into a different room. Doubt, but don't say anything. Massive slab of metal is jutting out from the floor in front of us. This probably fell from the ceiling at some point. Sudden mechanical clunking from an area in front of us. Pitch black. Yikes. Turn on flashlight. There's a conveyor belt still moving, but it's starting and stopping. Check it out. Faulty wiring. Looks like the thing was damaged pretty badly. Hey, Anon. Turn around. There's a fucking door in the middle of the room. Just a wooden door. What the fuck? BF goes to open the door. Realizes there is no hinge for it to open. Plus, it would not lead anywhere. Opens it anyway. Door creaks open. How? Fucking how? Door falls over. Feel something wet on the back of my neck. Fucking run. Nearly pissed myself. BF runs too. Jump back in the car. Wipe the back of my neck. It's like a brown goo. Consistency of jizz. Ugh.